Alright, to wrap up this chapter, it's time to do some action steps, time to do some hands-on work. And what I suggest you do now is to do a RAM preview using the standard button pushing method, then do the keyboard shortcut method to do a RAM preview, and then finally render your project. When you've completed all that, I suggest you watch the 3 bonus lessons that come after this chapter, and I'll talk about those in a little bit. Let's get started by working inside After Effects and doing a RAM preview. Alright, here we are in After Effects, and the first thing we're going to do is do a RAM preview. And the standard way to do a RAM preview is simply to go up to the upper right hand corner here on the preview panel and click that button, the RAM preview button. But before you do that, I suggest you change the resolution of your comp to something other than auto or other than something like half or full. I'm going to take mine down to 1/4, and that'll allow for a much faster RAM preview. So now I'm going to click on that little button and it'll start RAM previewing from the beginning. It'll start building out a little green bar there. You know, behind there's a blue bar as well. That's the disk cache. The green bar is the RAM or memory cache. And when I press the space bar or press this button again, it'll start playing this video with audio from the beginning. And when it gets to the end of that green bar, it starts playing all over again with audio until you press that little button again or press the space bar to stop it. Now I think it's a whole lot easier to do a keyboard shortcut rather than clicking that little button in the upper right hand corner there. So the keyboard shortcut for a RAM preview is the 0 key on the numeric keypad. If you have a MacBook Pro with no numeric keypad, then the keyboard shortcut there is Control 0. So now I'm just going to press the 0 key on my numeric keypad and off we go. It starts previewing from the end of the previous preview and builds the preview further. And when I click on the space bar or click on the 0 key again, it'll start playing it from the beginning. And then I can press on the 0 key or the space bar and that'll stop playing it. So there's your RAM preview. Now it's time to render your comp, and the first thing you need to do is select the comp you want to render, in this particular case this one here. So I click down here to make that thing active. You get a blue border around it. And now I go up to Composition, Add to Render Queue. That adds this comp to the render queue and opens up the render queue down here. There's that comp there. I need to do 2 things now. I need to choose the output module down here. That's the type of video file we're going to make. So I click on that hot link there. I go over here to the format. Right now AVI is the default one on my machine. You can use AVI or any of the other format options here, but we're going to suggest you use QuickTime. That makes an MOV file. And then choose the format option here, which is the type of codec basically. Go over to video codec and choose a video codec from this list. We recommend that you use Photo JPEG. That's a real nice codec for a nice clean video file. Click OK. And then check to make sure that you've got audio output selected down here. For the CC 2014 version of After Effects, this is done automatically. For previous versions, you need to click a little checkbox down here. Now that we've done that, click OK. And now there's one more thing to do, and that is to say where we want to save this and what name we want to use to save this. You click on this hot link to do that. You need to navigate to a file folder and then give your file a name. I've done this once already where I made the edited template version. This time I'm going to use the name down here. And I click on Save for that. And the final step is to click on the render button. Now, I'm not going to do that in this particular case because it takes about half an hour to render this thing, so I'm just going to let that go for now, but that's the process. Now that you've done all this work, I suggest you watch the 3 bonus lessons that I provided with this course. The first one is on adding slides to a template. Our template comes with 5 placeholders for 5 images or video files. You can have more placeholders if you want to, and I explain how to do that. As part of that process, you need to make a transition from one set to another, so I explain in the second bonus lesson how to use keyframes to create transitions. And the third bonus lesson is about some buying tips, some purchasing tips when you buy After Effects templates.